On the night of January 13th, 2012, a luxury cruise ship carrying more than 4,000 people sailed just off the coast of a small Italian island. It was supposed to be another calm evening in the Mediterranean, but within hours, the Costa Concordia would be torn open, powerless, and lying on its side in the dark. 32 people would lose their lives. And the disaster would raise one haunting question. How did a modern cruise ship in calm waters run aground so close to shore? Hey everyone, welcome to Everything Was Fine, the channel where we look at the small, bizarre, and sometimes unbelievable moments that caused massive disasters. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got a lot more coming. Let's get into it. The Costa Concordia was not just a ship, it was a floating resort. Launched in the mid-2000s, it stretched nearly 300 meters long and carried thousands of passengers and crew. On board were restaurants, swimming pools, bars, theaters, and cabins stacked high above the sea. Just for reference, this cruise ship was twice the size of the Titanic. On January 13th, 2012, the ship departed for a Mediterranean cruise. It departed from Civitavecchia, the port near Rome. According to Britannica, there were 3,206 passengers and 1,023 crew members on board. Everything was fine. The destination that night was not in danger. But as the Concordia approached Isola del Giglio, its course changed. Near Giglio Island, the ship moved closer to shore for what was known as a maritime salute, a close pass near the island meant to be seen from land and by passengers on board. It was not the first time a cruise ship had performed a gesture like this. But on this night, the margin for error was dangerously small. As the ship approached the rocky coastline, the bridge crew faced a fast-moving situation. The vessel was large, the shoreline was close, and beneath the surface were the Skull Rocks, which is the name for a now infamous reef off of the Italian coastline. At about 9:45 p.m., the Costa Concordia struck the reef. The impact tore a massive breach into the port side of the hull. Later summaries of the investigation described a 53-meter breach and flooding across 5 watertight compartments. That type of damage was catastrophic. After the collision, water poured into the ship. The engine room and vital systems were affected. The Concordia lost power, and without proper propulsion or steering, the ship began to drift. For passengers, the early messages were confusing. Some were reportedly told the problem was electrical. Others began putting on life jackets before a formal abandoned ship order had even been given. The delay later became one of the most criticized parts of this disaster. The ship continued tilting to the side. Lifeboats became harder to launch, and corridors tilted, while staircases became obstacles. Large luxury cruise ships are already known to sometimes be difficult to find your way around, but by now, the Costa had turned into a nightmarish maze. Outside, Giglio Island was close enough to see, close enough to make the disaster feel impossible, but still too far to easily escape the reality passengers were now facing. As the situation worsened, rescue vessels began arriving. Italian authorities, local boats, helicopters, and emergency teams joined the evacuation. The Italian Civil Protection Department later described the response as a major operation coordinated by the Livorno Port Authority Coast Guard, alongside firefighters, police, and other rescue forces. Passengers climbed down rope ladders, some waited in lifeboats, others were rescued from the ship itself. The people of Giglio, an island with a small population of less than 1,500, suddenly found themselves caring for thousands of survivors. Many shocked, wet, and injured, and separated from family members. By morning, most of those on board had survived, but not all. 32 people sadly perished in this incident. The ship had come to rest on its side, just off the island's harbor, a surreal image that would be broadcast around the world. A modern cruise ship, half submerged, towering over a quiet Italian coastline. In the aftermath, attention turned to the decisions made on the bridge. Investigators and later reporting pointed to failures in route planning, bridge management, navigation, and emergency procedures. The Italian Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport's investigation, summarized by maritime safety outlets, all pointed to the failure of the captain and his unconventional behavior. Captain Francesco Schettino became the central figure in the public reckoning. He was accused of causing the shipwreck, abandoning ship, and failing in his duty to passengers. There's even a recorded phone call between him and the Coast Guard during the incident, in which he was being heavily reprimanded for his decision to leave the ship with passengers still on board. He was told to reboard the ship immediately, as he was ignoring his main duty as a captain to be the last to leave in an emergency. he didn't listen and abandoned ship anyway. In 2015, he was sentenced to 16 years in prison. He appealed, but Italy's highest court upheld that sentence in 2017, and he is currently still imprisoned in Rome. He recently made a request for early release, but at this point his petition has not yet been granted, and he is expected to remain behind bars until 2032. Even though the captain does deserve a lot of the blame, the Concordia disaster was not only about one man. It was also about systems, training, procedures, communication, decision-making, and what happens when confidence replaces caution. The wreck remained off Giglio for more than 2 years. Removing it became one of the most complex maritime salvage operations ever attempted. Hundreds of workers, dozens of vessels, and enormous steel structures were used to stabilize, rotate, refloat, and remove the ship. But while engineers and divers worked to secure the wreck, others saw opportunity. As the Costa Concordia sat partially submerged off the island, reports emerged of people illegally entering the wreck to search for valuables left behind by passengers. According to reporting from outlets including CNN and Reuters at the time, authorities investigated multiple incidents involving unauthorized divers and alleged theft from cabins and personal belongings. Italian authorities increased security around the site as salvage operations continued. Meanwhile, crews faced another challenge. The wreck itself was unstable. The Costa Concordia rested precariously on underwater rock shelves. A major shift could have caused the ship to slide deeper into the sea, making recovery vastly more dangerous. The Italian Civil Protection Department says the operation eventually involved around 500 technicians and 30 vessels over more than 2 years. The ship was finally refloated and towed away to Genoa in 2014 for dismantling. Slowly, the Concordia was raised, then towed away, and eventually scrapped. But for years afterwards, the image of the ship lying on its side beside the island remained one of the most haunting symbols of modern maritime disaster. The Costa disaster remains one of the most infamous maritime failures of the modern era, not because it happened in a storm, not because it happened far from help, but because it happened in calm water, close to land, aboard a ship built with modern technology and operated by trained professionals. The tragedy of the Costa Concordia is a reminder that disasters rarely begin with one single mistake. They build. A shortcut, a delay, a missed warning, a bad decision made too confidently, and by the time everyone sees the danger clearly, it may already be too late. Yeah, boat in the coast was afloat, but got too close to the show, just to say yo to the people, all because of ego. Yeah, trying to fit a ship through a peephole. Cappy was a peacock with no merit. R.I.P. to those who perished.